Hello, dear tribe. I am recording this video on Tuesday, March the 18th, and planning to post it on later in the week after I post the video, encouraging you to check out the video by Heather Ensworth about Sedna. And I I am going to be sharing my own Sedna journey currently, sharing pain to the bone learnings from my twin flame relationship. So been, I've, I had a twin flame relationship. I have a twin flame. I had the great fortune of meeting my twin flame, which I know that not everybody has that experience. And I do feel like that was a great fortune to meet my twin flame. I entered into relationship and um, I had certain beliefs that the twin flame relationship was something that, was something that would be there forever, that for this lifetime, I was given the gift to be in union with my twin flame. So I made assumptions about that, and I made life decisions based on my assumptions, as in moving to New Brunswick to live with my twin flame and her son, and to help bring up her son, entering into family. And I would say that she also had similar assumptions that we would be together and that I would say that we were both all in to this relationship. And it it had to end last year. It had to end. So this has been a pain to the bone learning for me, and I have been receiving messaging that this is my own Sedna journey at this time. I've been through Sedna journeys before, and so I am opening to receive this Sedna breaking down, destroying, and for something else to be resurrecting that is even more beautiful and mystical. So, the reason that I thought to share in a video is to inspire you to do your own Sedna healing journey. So, I was not familiar with the twin flame relationship until meeting my twin flame. So it was a sort of a fast learning process. That the idea is that it is two two sides of the same soul. So a soul intentionally broke into two, a male and a female side, and that would be born into separate people, and that it's this great blessing not only to the people but to the world when two twin flames find each other and are able to come together and to manifest in the world. It's a very powerful connection, a very dynamic connection, and it's supposed to actually make like the world a better place when two twin flames come together. And twin flames are known to do amazing work in the world, like very powerful, profound service work in the world, because of the power of this union of the two sides of the same soul coming together. And so I learned all of this, and there was confirmation from a number of sources that myself and my twin flame were indeed twin flames. So it was a very exciting time. I met her in 2022. We met on March the 9th, 2022, and we formally entered into love relationship on April 21st, which today is March the 18th. So I have been aware that what would have been our 3-year anniversary is coming up next month. And so this is probably also part of the reason why this has been coming up in a deeper way. So some things that I have been learning through this is, first of all, having rules about certain relationships. Um, it doesn't necessarily ring of truth. So, the rule that I thought that I had to be with my twin flame, that this was something that would go on forever. It was a rule which, putting on the shoes and walking in the shoes through this experience, it became apparent that it was not something that would be forever. I believe that I did benefit a lot from being in the relationship, the energy of a twin flame relationship, the passion is so strong. It caused me to leave the PhD that I was doing at Dalhousie. I was doing a PhD in computer science because I wanted to develop my novel idea of healing game software, um, software where people could go in to a gaming environment, encounter their real life problems, be able to explore novel solutions to their problems, things that they would never have the courage to try in real life. They could try it in this healing game software. And then what they learned from inside the software, they could then, if they had some positive results, they would then probably be much more likely to try them in real life. So it's a lovely concept. And 2 years into my PhD, I still was not being supported in developing the concept. I was instead being like directed to supporting another professor's work, and I was not manifesting my reason for doing the PhD. So meeting my twin flame, I all of a sudden thought, well, maybe I have something bigger to contribute than healing game software, because I've now met my twin flame, and I'm thinking that together we will be able to create things that are really going to help people in this time. Because, I mean, honestly, the world has really been very changed in really radical ways. In 2020, there was COVID, so we were coming out of that in 2022. Like things were radically changing, and I thought, maybe I have a bigger contribution, and I just felt so infused with hope and so much inspiration having met my twin flame. It really was incredible energy. I was very happy. We were both very happy. My moving to New Brunswick was supposed to be temporary. Our plan was that I would move there for 3 months, and then she and her son would move to Halifax and we would get a place together in Halifax. Things did not happen the way that they were expected. And she then decided she needed to stay in the small town where we were living. And then the son, was not going to be moving to Halifax. So she needed to stay there to be with the son. Like it was like the initial transition plan somehow didn't have follow through. And so I was then, because I was in my rule of I must be with my twin flame, I stayed in this small town, and it was a very depressing and unhappy decision for me. But I just focused on pouring my love and energy into forming this new family. And honestly, I really felt like I wanted a family. And so I felt like, this is a gift, and I'll just focus on the gift. And I will not focus on, the very limited existence I was having in this small town. And so I had this dream of us offering programming together. And, one truth of this is that she's not comfortable in the public light. And so, um, although I encouraged her to do things that she probably never would have done before, she still was not comfortable being in the public light. Um, she is shy and, I would say painfully shy. So, so that was something that, walking through this experience, we realized that it's not like we were going to be really able to do really powerful work in the world. And the other thing is that her son had gotten somehow to the age of 11 and never learned discipline. Both his mother and his father, discipline was not a strong suit for them, and so he was a very, very unhappy little boy who the only way that he knew how to have effect in the world was to throw tantrums. And so I took on this task of teaching him healthy discipline. And it was really one of the things that I will take to my grave that I feel good about, of the parenting that I was able to give to him and to teach him a level of self-worth that he had never experienced before, and to see him thrive. Like, he went into thriving mode the 2 years that I was parenting him. And, he and I, we had such a wonderful bond. I really, it was a lovely, lovely part of that relationship, and also an incredible amount of work. The parenting that it took to teach him discipline after going without discipline for so many years. Like, you know, he was taking every meal, laying on his belly on his bed, watching TV and eating with his fingers. He didn't even know how to use a knife and fork. So, literally, I invested my lion's heart into teaching him how to use a knife and a fork, and how to have discipline, and how to be able to move beyond responding to life with tantrums. So it was it took a lot of work, and also it's something that I felt great about, and it's a gift that I really joyfully gave to that young man. So what I have come to realize is that when you're in a relationship that is as intense and energetic and as charged as a twin flame relationship, both people in that relationship need to have really mastery relational skills. The ability to see when they're being triggered and to take ownership of their triggers, the ability to have perspective even when in the midst of a trigger, and the ability to work with yourself through a trigger to be able to work well in the relationship. And so this is eventually what came forward. Um, so I'm just going to share, this ending, I have an amazing chiropractor here in Halifax. She practices network spinal analysis, which is an amazing form of chiropractic that I fell in love with when I lived in Toronto. And so I had invited my twin flame also to see this chiropractor. And so she had started to see this chiropractor when we would take trips into Halifax. And so last summer, we both had a session with the chiropractor. And in each of our sessions, the chiropractor had kind of given us like healing projects. Like, these healing projects had emerged from each of our session. And each of them were going to impact how we were in the relationship. And so when we got back home to our small town home, like the next morning, I knew that things, were feeling charged, and that we were going to be going through some conflict. And so I, in my playful creativity, which will come as no surprise to you, I pulled out a piece of paper and a pen, and I said, let's set this vision for how we're going to go through this. And so I drew a circle, and in the center of my circle, I wrote my healing project from Dr. Ann. And so then I drew another circle, and I said, what words would you use to describe your healing project from Dr. Ann? And so then I wrote those in the right-hand circle. And then I drew a heart that was interlocking the two circles. I said, so this is the vision I'm putting forward, that our love will hold us being able to work through this together. And I put that vision, simple little vision board, on the dining room table so that it would be present and shining its light on us. And all I can say is that of all the amazing visioning I have ever done, that is the absolute biggest failure vision that I've ever had, because that is so not what happened that week. Um, my twin flame partner was, I have to trust that she was needing to just be really angry with me. Like she was needing to be angry. And my own therapist, I've got an amazing therapist. My therapist was familiar with this diagnosis that the chiropractor had given, and she said that typically for people to get out of that place, they need to go into fight mode. So there was even the expert explanation for why I was experiencing this in my profound love relationship, that all she wanted to do was to fight. And she was pretty wrathful. So things, I thought that, that they might settle down. And after 3 weeks of this, with no sign of anything settling down, I could see that that she was not going to be coming out of this trigger place that she was in, and that I had to face that this was not a relationship where we could work with things and where we could grow together. I had to face that reality. And as you know, I am a big one on clarity, and it came through very clear to me. As much as I wanted to be in this love relationship, which was just, I cannot explain how deep and powerful my love was for this woman, I could see with clarity that this was a no-go. There was not a future of being in relationship and being able to work together when something like this was happening. So that's when I realized that I was going to need to leave. And so then there was the whole, messy, chaotic, experience of figuring out, what does leaving look like? Is there any possibility of still, being in the son's life and being a parent and these kinds of things? But things, they very rapidly went to very extreme places, where she actually, and this is a source of deep heartbreak for me, she unexpectedly and suddenly cut off contact between myself and her son. Um, Heartbreaking for me, but also I would say even abusive to her son. I think that he deserved to at least to have had a chance to say goodbye to me. I always think that people, children and elderly, the more vulnerable people, you have to extend a little more care and support them and to think of their experience. And that's definitely not the case of what happened here. So this was a very, very dramatic and abrupt and harsh ending to this relationship that was the deepest love relationship of my life. And so I am sharing my pain to the bone learnings from this experience, which is, um, it seems that the purpose of life is not about being attached. The purpose of life is being true, and being true to your spirit, being true to your soul and what your soul envisioned for this life. So I'm seeing that, it was an amazing gift to be able to be in relationship for 2+ years with my twin flame and to experience the profound beauty of that kind of love. And I also can see very clearly that the service that I am doing to through this work with the Warrior of Peace tribe, this never would have happened if I was still in that relationship. First of all, because my twin flame partner was so threatened by public exposure, and I think that even would extend to even me being public on my own. And secondly, the amount of energy and work that I was putting in to being a family person and especially being a parent to this young man who I'm still very fond of. Um, the amount of energy that I was putting into that would not have allowed me to do what I have done with the Warriors of Peace. So I'm seeing that, perhaps there was this gift of experiencing the twin flame union. And also, um, there does seem to be something that is right and beautiful in how, we think about the picture of Sedna with her fingers grasping on to the edges of her father's canoe, and her, either, taking a knife and cutting off her fingers, or, using a, some implement to break her fingers so that she has no choice but to fall into the deep. I feel that I am, going through that process. I It was with clarity that I could not stay in that relationship, that the relationship could not go on, and that really beautiful, nice canoe, I was forced to let go of it and to sink into the depths and to try to figure out where I would live and to find this home that I'm in now, that I will be leaving soon for my permanent home. I had to give myself away to the waves, the ocean waves, and to allow sort of my soul essence to be guiding me in a journey that, was murky and that I couldn't see, and, was definitely very upsetting. I mean, honestly, I really thought that this would be my family for life, and I certainly loved them both very dearly, and it was not meant to be. And I had to honor my fingers being disengaged from that canoe, and I had to open myself to the rocky, uncertain waves and to trust that my soul knew where I needed to go, what I needed to do. I really had to surrender into a place of faith. And, it's brought me into this amazing connection with all of you. Um, you know, Really, you light up my heart. As much as I light up your heart, you light up my heart. And none of this would have happened if I had stayed in my twin flame relationship and the parenting relationship. And so, with Heather's um, astrological forecast about what the Kuiper Belt object, I believe it is, of Sedna, of what is happening at this point in the stars, and this call for all of us to be letting go of the canoe and allowing this total, transformation. Um, it is here. The astrology is supporting all of us in this. And I hope that my sharing, this Sedna chapter in my life will inspire you to allow what you're needing to let go of, and to allow going into the murky uncertainty, and to trust your soul to emerge in um, your true divine goddess brilliance, as Sedna did. I mean, she's such a precious goddess of the sea, very revered, and she gives so much because of this transmutation that she went through. So may we all go through this transmutation, and may we all come out as the divine gods and goddesses that we are. And may we bring what is needed into this world so that this world can transform into the new golden age. I know that we will. And this video is just an inspiration to continue forward and to let go of what we need to let go of, and to allow to emerge the beautiful that needs to now emerge. So I hope that you will receive this video with grace. It's very edgy of me to decide to do this. I hope that you appreciate it. Super vulnerable, and um, hopefully a worthwhile risk for empowering you in your journey. So I welcome your comments, and if possible, I will, read every one of them. So thank you. And again, from my heart, sharing my heart with you.